Hey, bosses, it's your girl, Nicole Doss, and I am super excited that you came back for another episode of Pink Radio with Prestige. Today, we are going to talk about all things tech. I will say, for the most part, learning something new about how we can best leverage technology to help us build our brands is something that excites me. But I got to tell you, there's this learning curve period that takes place that when we're learning that thing that's new, we get a little frustrated because we're not pros at maneuvering or navigating through whatever the technology is. So in 2021, really, it's all about getting over that fear of kind of diving in to using something new, dedicating time in your week to just learning that thing and getting to be, if not an expert, like just good enough to become a little dangerous at it, and learning how we can best increase things like our customer experience through it, because the reality is that that's where industries are moving, and I'll say across industries, really learning how to leverage technology to enhance the customer buying experience is definitely something that everyone is kind of jumping on, and it's something that you definitely should take into consideration. So let's jump into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be really simple, and that's going to be the use of things like Reels or TikTok on your social media. Now, the reason why I said Reels or TikTok is because usually you can take TikTok videos with you wherever you want to go. Same thing with Reels, because once you actually upload them, then they're usually in your camera roll. So if you want to then use that to place other places, like whether it's in Facebook or things of that nature, you have the ability to do it. But let's talk about why using things like Reels or TikTok videos will help you with the customer experience. Well, one of the things that you have to do in your marketing, whether you know it or not, is really focusing on the art of storytelling. So when you're able to find a creative way to tell a story that includes things that are visually pleasing to the eye, as well as adding some kind of audio component to it, such as music, then you find yourself in a space where you are giving entertainment or giving joy to your tribe. So I'll give you an example of some things that I've done in the past that go not against, but I'll say that is delivered or was delivered differently than what I traditionally may have done in the past. So during Christmas, I decided that I wanted to do a quick guide to help women know, like, these are the things, if you really want to start a business, or if you have a baby business or a baby brand and you are excited about Christmas and excited about gifts, here are a few things that you should really invest in for gifts for yourselves, or ask someone to gift for you when it comes to your baby brand. And so I gave a list, like, take the time to purchase your LLC, take the time to invest in a website, take the time to, invest in even getting a real email address instead of using Gmail. So these are like a few things that I posted, and I even said, like, invest in, like, expanding your network. So these are all the different things that I shared. But imagine in the past, I would have gone on and done some kind of video on my story and would have shared, like, these are the things that you could do. Maybe I would have added some text to the element, but for the most part, it would just be me speaking. But instead, I used Reels. I played Santa Baby. It just so happened that day I was dressed up like a big old Christmas present because of the fact that we had an ugly sweater party that day. So I just, had my Santa Baby music playing in the background or on the Reels, and I just had the words pop up. It had about over 600 views, and so that's probably more than what I normally get on any particular video. So the fact that people really enjoyed it, the fact that my hair was done, my makeup was done, and people were like, oh my gosh, you look so cute. And I hate that was what they were focused on, because if you know me, you know that what I care about is that you got the gems and not that you think I'm cute. So in that, I, was like, oh, great, people were looking at it. But that really increased the engagement that I normally see. But at the same time, it changed the experience of my audience because now they're able to enjoy music, they're able to get gems, and it definitely is different than the traditional style of what I've done to share information with my tribe. Another example of how I've done this was for New Year's Eve, I used Beyonce's Countdown. And so I shared, I think, the top 10 things that we could celebrate in 2020 that we have accomplished or that we've experienced. And so I shared the good, bad, and the ugly, right? So I shared all the things that I went through when it came to losing and losing my whole Instagram page and being hacked, as well as starting a new page and starting from scratch. And so all of those things were definitely experiences that changed or molded who I am and how I think about business today. So just for that alone, that's something that is deserving to be celebrated, if nothing else. And so instead of me just saying, hey guys, so these are the top 10 things, I literally had Beyonce's Countdown playing as I went around and pointed to each thing. And it's super simple to do it that way. You don't have to make up a dance routine or anything of that nature. You just standing there, look cute, and just point around. And of course, wherever you're pointing, that's where the words should pop up. And from that, that actually got over 500 views as well. And it's funny because some people gave me feedback within the Prestige Society. I was like, yeah, I kept going back so I could read all of the things that you've experienced. And so that's something where when you have people going back, that ups the engagement as well. So just take that into consideration when you're thinking about how can you increase engagement on social media. But that's one of the ways that you're able to leverage technology to enhance your customer's experience. Because even if they're your potential customers, the goal is to get them involved or get them engaged with your brand, to like the brand, to trust the brand, ultimately to buy from the brand. So definitely take that into consideration. But yeah, so that's how I would say get people engaged in your social media life by using those kind of fun video tactics. The next thing I will say is social proof. So this is something that actually popped up in my growth hacking book club. We're reading growth hacking. It's called, so it says creative, resourceful, high leverage growth hacking. And it is Silicon Valley's best kept secret. So we're learning about the ASP model. It's written by Raymond Fung and Chad Ritterson. And they talked about the 7 ways that you follow up with people once you've introduced your brand or you placed your brand in front of them. And one of the things that they have shared was that when you are following up, one of the things that you need is social proof. And this also was something that came up in our conversation last Saturday. So if you don't know, every Saturday morning, I'm on Clubhouse with Sisters in Business Expo. They are the hosts, the creators of this Support a Sister Saturday. And I am there alongside Black Women Hustle, Buy from a Black Woman. Those creators are LaShawn and Nikki. I want to say Porcher, LaShawn. I don't want to mispronounce her last name. So I'm going to say, LaShawn Dreyer. Yeah, let's just keep it as simple as that. So definitely check those ladies out. I will put links into the notes so you guys can go ahead and check out those brands as well. But one of the things that LaShawn talked about Saturday was for this one person who was looking to increase sales was that she needed social proof. So this is the second time that I've been hearing about this. And one of the things I'll say about Instagram or social media period is that it seems that now people seem to be more engaged with watching video than just looking at a static picture, if you will. So one of the things that I really have enjoyed using recently is called vocal references. And so they allow you to either get or obtain video or vocal, MP3, so MP4, MP3 files of people who would love to share their experience with whatever it is that you are trying to get feedback on. So I thought that was really cool. I'm sure you can also upload or create anything like Jotform to be able to get those same kind of responses back, but you're probably thinking like, so why would you care about vocal? Why would you care about video? So I love the whole aspect of video because I am starting to create what I love to call these social proof cards. So where I'm able to put testimonials and things of that nature onto branded cards, if you will, on social media so that they can be actual posts so people can see what my tribe has said about either services or products or membership of the Prestige Society or the Prestige brand altogether. And that's something that's really, really important. So once again, using things like video and using things like audio really help people, because one of the things about social proof is that you want proof that people are actually using your products. So sometimes if you have a very perfectly crafted image, people aren't really sure if those individuals are real or not, especially if you use like a first name and like a second, like a, first name and a first initial of the last name. Instead of someone's full information, it could look pretty staged, but adding that additional element of video with audio where people can actually hear what people are saying about your brand puts a little bit of credibility to the actual testimonials. So take that into consideration and think about how you can begin to incorporate that with some of your fabulous clients that tend to always use your services, who are always coming back for more. If you do not have said kind of clientele, maybe you're brand new and starting out, build those relationships with your existing customers so that way you can leverage them and you can ask them. The best way to leverage them and to build that relationship is to, one, if there's any issue at all with one of your products or your services, make sure you go above and beyond in solving that issue, because what we found in research is that customers who are once angry customers who are able to have their needs met by the brand don't just become return customers, they become loyal customers, because what they are experiencing is that when something is wrong, they can trust that you will take care of it quickly. Because for the most part, people already expect mediocre customer service, meaning I buy something, I get something. At best, that's what's going to happen. But when something goes wrong, that's what separates customer service from or a customer's experience from a really great customer service or customer experience focused business versus someone who's just in it for the coins. And so when someone feels like their needs aren't met, then they're not going to continue to work with that brand. Now, I will say this as a disclaimer. Yes, there's scammers out there. Yes, there are people out there that will take advantage of you. So you just have to be able to use discernment to tell who's really experiencing a genuine problem versus someone who is just trying to take advantage. But when you are discerning that, you still have to have a level of customer service that you are exuding to your customers to ensure that you are giving them the best level of service, because what you don't want is to treat someone like they're a whole crook to find out that they're not, and then try to, backpedal and give really great service, because by then it's too late. So I do want to give that disclaimer when we're talking about that customer experience. So yes, definitely build those customer relationships. If you are a newbie out here in these streets, these entrepreneurial streets, make sure that you are getting that social proof so that you're able to move on. Okay, so far we talked about leveraging things like TikTok or Reels. We talked about, at this point, using video or audio social proof. So let's move on to the world of AR. Now, for those of you who are not tech geeks or nerds like myself, you're probably like, well, why in the world do I need something like AR for my customer experience? I don't know if it's just because it's now 2021 or if it's because we are in a space of the pandemic. So a lot of people really, and like I say every week when I talk about the pandemic, I am absolutely aware that everyone's experience with this pandemic in the United States is not equal. It's not the same. If you live in Atlanta, clearly your life is not at all impacted by the pandemic because y'all out here in these club streets, honey. Y'all are clubbing. Y'all clubbing without masks on. Y'all look crazy to the people up north because we are not doing that. It just looks like a super spreader. It looks crazy to us up north because we are not in a space where we're just amongst masses of people with no mask on. So, like I said, when I make these comments about the pandemic and how people are impacted, I am not at all naive enough to believe that my experience or what I see in my area or my neck of the woods is what you experience in your neck of the woods. And for those of you who are international, I'm sure you're experiencing something very different than what we're experiencing just based on what national leaders have decided to do to handle or to curb the on spread of the coronavirus. So please understand that I am in New Jersey. So what I say and what I am talking about when I talk about the pandemic really, really does pertain to the locale, if you will. So for a lot of us, either on the West Coast or East Coast, Northeast for sure, I will say that the pandemic has really impacted things like how people shop, how they, and then not even just the pandemic, but then when we move to the pandemic and then a lot of the social unrest that has happened in the summer, there has been this huge movement to buying and supporting Black and brown businesses. So I will say that definitely people, and that's why I said I don't know if it's the pandemic. I don't know if it's because it's just 2021, but definitely there's been this shift in how people want to experience buying brands online, how people want to be able to connect with a different kind of technological experience. And so what we've noticed is that there's been this really great uptick in augmented reality or even virtual reality when it comes to brands and brands interacting with their consumers. We've seen this, I will say, pretty early on in the real estate business. So doing virtual tours, that's something that I think has been around for a very long time. We've probably seen an uptick in that once the pandemic hit because, the real estate industry was really impacted. They weren't really sure how they were going to continue doing things like something as simple as a closing because they didn't want people all in the same room, signing documents, touching pins and things of that nature. So forget about, getting into a room and doing a closing. But now let's talk about even the individuals that are now in a room and they're like, okay, well, now we're going to do a little conversation, with people who want to buy the house. How are we doing that? How are we bringing them into our home? And how are we showing people our homes? How are we showing multiple people and multiple families our homes? And so they really changed the game. And so I will say that there, was really an increase once the real estate industry, because let me tell you something, y'all. If y'all didn't know, when the pandemic hit, the real estate industry shut down, shut all the way down. I have friends who are realtors and they really stuff was on hold, pause. Just imagine the mannequin challenge. People were just frozen. Then when it opened back up, there became, of course, a lot of people were probably very, very scared or hesitant to just let people into their home. So I'm sure looking at ways to really leverage virtual tours really became an increase in how that technology was used. But now when you talk about just everyday brands, people love this interactive thing that takes place when you're able to use technology, whether it does something like allow for there to be an ease of use or ease of being able to access information. People really like it. So let me tell you an example of something that I've noticed even with using Cash App. So everyone knows, you use Cash App, you use the QR code, boom, now all of a sudden the person's stuff is up and you're able to easily pay them. That that use right there is so simple. It makes it easy for you to pay someone. Ease of use. How awesome is that? So I love when technology makes it super easy for someone to work with someone. And so people now are really creating really fun ways that you can work and be able to interact with brands. And so there's two companies in particular that I want to share. So the first one is Spark AR. What I love about Spark AR is that they actually have now moved augmented reality to Facebook ads. So now people are able to do things like hover over an image, hover over a 3D image, and they're able to see or be able to use be able to see like a website or be able to go to a website of a particular brand. For people who use goggles when using their Androids, it makes it, even more cooler to use apps like Facebook, because now you have these ads that pop up that are 3D. Watch a demo of Spark AR to kind of get an idea of the use case for them. That's one of the things I do whenever I am researching a company. It's really important for me to understand the use case so that I can see how I can use them. So definitely, if this is something that you're interested in, go right ahead and take a look at that, especially if you're looking at ways to increase engagement on your Facebook ads, if you're looking for ways to increase engagement on any kind of ads, because hopefully that increased engagement will allow for there to be increase in conversion, which means likes equal money. So that's something that we really want to get to, because you know what? We know that likes do not equal money, and getting that conversion takes some work. So definitely take a look at that demo. The second one I really like is a Black-owned business called Metro U, MetroUAR.com. Go check them out. They work on AR logos, AR murals, guys. So if you have a brick and mortar, if there's a mural on the side of your building and people can hover over a piece and then there'll be information that pops up, go to their website. They show you exactly how it works. They do things like business cards. It's super easy. All you have to do is download the app and then go ahead and create either your AR business card, your AR logo. You decide what you want to pop up, and that's what you use. And then usually what happens is that you bring up your phone, of course, someone will hover over it and all the information pops up. So that's a really easy way to share your information. And think about it, you're also being very cognizant of the amount of trees you're killing by all of the 500 count of business cards that you are handing out. And if you don't want people to, if you don't want to touch things like people's cards, I'm not that crazy with it, but if that's something that you're concerned with, look at that. Now you're being really sanitary, because now you don't have to touch anything other than your own phone and just hover over it and boom, that information pops up. So I think that's really cool. I think that really does add to that very polished piece to the branding when you're able to have those kind of things. If you are a nonprofit and donations are things that are given to your nonprofit, having QR codes that lead directly to like either your Blue Box, your donor box, whatever plugin you use for your nonprofit, you're able to have donations directly through there, especially when you're talking and networking to people, or if you're sending out donor cards and you have QR codes on the donor cards. Those are really cool ways to be able to get people to interact with the brand. So far, we've talked about using fun ways to storytell by way of reels or TikTok videos. We talked about adding some credibility to your testimonials through either vocal MP3 files or videos by using things like vocal references. We also talked about now adding a little bit of augmented reality and QR codes to your fabulous brand by way of using things like Spark AR or Metro U. I got to tell you, looking at the demo, Metro U seems like the easier way to go, because Spark AR looked like you were working right up in a Photoshop. So if you don't like to do a whole lot of design work or back-end work, then definitely look at Metro U as your go-to. Next thing here I would say is for those of you who are event planners, who have created summits in the past, but you're interested in, but the last time you threw a summit was in the before times when people could meet face to face and all congregate together in large amounts. So this is something that definitely is for you. And so virtual summits are something that people are looking into. But I think what ends up happening is that people all head out to Zoom world. And so what Zoom is great for is a webinar. What Zoom is not great for is a summit or a conference. So if you use something like Hopin allows you, and once again, it's so funny because I was talking with one of my clients and we were talking about Hopin for their summit that they're planning. And then someone from our talk on Support a Sister Saturday had mentioned Hopin as well. And that user said, it's like a love-hate relationship. So I will say that I have not created anything in Hopin. This is just one of the things that I've seen demos on and I know that people have used. But for those who have used it, they do have a love-hate relationship with it. So they say they love it because of what it allows for, which is a great replication of what a face-to-face event looks like. I have to say, though, I've been on the end user side of Hopin because now that I looked at the demo, I realized that the Learning and Development Summit that I went through with ATD was definitely Hopin. But I really like the layout of it. I think it's $99 a month. So if you are in the midst of selling tickets, and let's say your tickets are $60 a pop, the cool thing about that is that by the second ticket you sell, boom, it's paid for itself. But also too, what I like about it is the fact that it has these really awesome components that really get you as close to a live summit or a live conference as possible. So when you think of like Zoom and Zoom's waiting lobby, there's nothing really, like, it's not really a waiting lobby. Like, you're not in this like fake virtual reality waiting room on your computer waiting to be let into this space, which would be really cool if that was the case, where it created some kind of real, like, virtual reality world. But instead, you're kind of just on hold and you're just waiting, and you're literally just waiting till somebody lets you in. That's it. So with this place, this Hopin, there's a reception area. There's a place for you to actually network with people. If you have some, sometimes before or after an event, there's networking that takes place. So they have that ability. There's a main stage. That's usually where your panels are. That's usually where your fireside chats are. That's where your keynote speaker would reside in that space. And it's cool because then on the side, you see all of the people who are in attendance. Up to 6 people can be on a panel for your main stage. But then when there's breakout sessions, then people have the ability to then go to the actual session, click on the session that they want to attend. There is an agenda so people can see like which classes and breakout sessions they want to attend. There's also an expo area where you're able to go and shop virtually with people. If your sponsors are a thing that you have to offset costs, because let me tell you something, if people got swag bags at your event, they should still receive swag bags sent to their homes upon purchasing a ticket. So, because that helps with the experience as well. And so with Hopin, you also have an area for, a virtual banner for those who are your sponsors. They're grayed out. You can hover over them, click on them, whatever they're offering. If they have like a little pavilion or what have you, you can see that and it'll pop up so that you can go and learn more about that sponsor and how they're interacting or what they're providing to the event. So definitely, I think Hopin is a great tool to use if you are trying to create a virtual summit or a virtual conference. Definitely take a look at them. Look at some of the reviews. I think that is really important for you to learn what people love and what people hate about it. So definitely take a look at that. And I gotta say, that's really all I have to share. But you should look up. Now listen, y'all. Wednesdays are my research and development days. So what I do during that time is I research to see what things are people doing in my industry? What things are going on in the world of entrepreneurs? So like, you should look if people are using AR, if people are using QR, like say like, how are people using it? If brands are using TikTok, if brands are using Reels, see what are people doing? How are they doing it? Because this is going to give you what I like to call a use case. And a use case is, it gives you a great business case of why you should begin to use or leverage this particular thing. So definitely take that into consideration and definitely, think about different ways that you can use this. For me, I've already used Reels. I've already used vocal references. I'm going to download Metro AR. I'm super excited, or Metro UAR, so that I can get started with that as well. I don't think I'll be using Spark AR, but it's definitely intriguing to me. And I'm thinking about a Boss Ignite Summit in the summer. So I'm thinking that I might be using Hopin as well. So I don't know, y'all. I might be at this point 4 for 4 by the time we get done with this episode. So have some fun, play with technology. Do not be afraid. If you have any questions, please know that you can reach out to me at the official Nicole Doss or Pink Radio with Prestige on Instagram. Also, you can reach out to me at theprestigesociety.com or Nicole Doss at theprestigesociety.com. And don't forget, if you're looking for a fabulous network of fearless girl bosses, know that our membership is open. You can apply. We are closing on the 30th, which means the time is running out. Do not miss out on this awesome opportunity. All right, guys, have a wonderful, awesome, and best of all blessed day. Bye.